Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ. I have a new digital and I'm really excited by it because I think it's going to lend itself to so many projects. A really good basic kit of antique and vintage sheet music covers. That sounds like a real mouthful. It is. It is 10 pages of I think the earliest one here is 1907, so that's antique. And some are not quite antique. They're almost antique, but not quite. So I've had to classify them as vintage. But it doesn't matter. They're old. They're old, and they are, I think, quite beautiful. There's some foxing. There's some finger marks. There's some handwriting, some stamping, all sorts that were on them throughout their lifetime. So I've left all that on because that's authentic history, part of the document's life. So let's have a look. Oh, and I should add, for the first time, I am offering this kit in both A4 size and US letter size. So if you want to purchase this and you head along to Etsy, make sure you buy the size that you want. So check the listing carefully because there are two listings that look the same, but one's A4 and one is US letter. Okay, so just be aware of that. Let me know if there's any issues with the letter size ones because I don't print in letter, so there's no reason why there should be a problem. But if there is something, do let me know and I will work on that. Okay, so let's take a look. This one is just got all this lovely like etching design around the edge. It's got lots of little fun marks on it. This one's 1909. Some of them don't have the date on the front. In fact, most of them don't. But this one's nice and easy. It's 1909. Just look at how beautiful and interesting that is. Some of them aren't as detailed, but different projects, different uses, all good. So that's first page. This one I love. I assume it's in French, the title and some of the information down here. I'm guessing. It may not be. It might be in a different language, Italian, or I don't know. I don't speak any of them. But this one is absolutely stunning. Was a tear in this one, so it's got shows up the tear there. Lovely colour, just really pretty. Beautiful. It's got a seller's stamp on the bottom there. It's got a little handwritten price on the bottom. Just stunning, and all the graphics and the text, the fonts, beautiful. They don't make things like that anymore. Like, we're not so extravagant these days. We're more pulled back and not so much flair, I feel. This one you've probably seen because I've done a project with this one in the past. It's got some finger marks. It's got lovely sort of discoloration around the edges. Just beautiful. This is the one that I had to rescan because the one I was using previously had moved somehow during the scanning. So that's all fixed up now. Then there's this one with lovely border. It doesn't actually fit on my scanner properly, but that's okay. I still think it's pretty even if it's cut off on the edges. Just a few creases that show up. It's kind of a soft grey in colour, but super pretty. I hope you can get a good enough look at these. It's quite hard, I find, to show them on camera in their fullness. This one's a little plainer, but I still think is really pretty. Lots of different fonts. There's some decorative elements. Just super fun. And again, we've got creases, we've got some age spots. Super cool. This one is fun. This, of course, will lend itself more to Christmas time. But look at that illustration at the bottom there. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. I love it. The font, again, stunning. There's some creases and foxing and just gorgeous. I love it. Love it, love it. Then this one, again, is a slightly plainer one. Again, some decorative elements, lots of different fonts. There's some stamping here from back in the day. Some age spots and that sort of thing. So it's not quite white. There is some sort of creamy, beigey discoloration around the edges. And it's not bright white. Like if you put it against white, you can then kind of start to pick up some of the detail a bit more. I'm not sure that the lights I've got on are doing it any favours. Then there's this beautiful one. This is the 1907 one. It's got this gorgeous etching of a rose in frame with a list of songs inside it. It's got some handwriting at the top. It's got a splatter of something. It's a gorgeous kind of orangey and yellow colour. Super pretty. I'm going to be using this one today in a project, so you'll see me use that one. This one is again a kind of a soft grey, decorative elements, more stamping and some handwriting, a signature there. Just gorgeous. I think these are going to be so much fun to use. And the last one here is got this big romance title, and look at all those swirls, and it's got a tear through here, so I've left a tear in because I think that's fun. There's some, I think it's a pencil mark here, the number 6. Copyright, and I think this is in French, so I think this is a French one, but it also has Vienna and Zurich and Brussels and things, so I don't know, there's some staining around the edges. So that's 10 pages, and I think they are wonderful. So all the links will be in the description box if you want to head along and buy a copy of that for all your crafting needs or wants, you know, no judgment here at all. Okay, so for the project today, I'm, as I said, using this one. This is another copy I've printed out. I have backed it with a page from the All Things Roses kit from the Junk Journal Studio. I just love it. I've already pre-trimmed it, so it's ready to go for us to play with. So for this project, perhaps I'll show you my prototype. So my prototype, I just move that out of the way for a moment, I made with this Duexim, I have no idea how to pronounce it. You can probably tell that. Mazurk. That's probably a little easier to try and pronounce than this. I don't know. It's fun anyway. So we're going to make this little kind of writing spot folio type piece. So we've got in here, we've got some coffee dyed paper that flips out. I didn't back this one. I realized as I was doing it I should have backed it, but I just intended it to be a rough prototype, but it's actually turned out really well, so I'll still use it. We've got a little side pocket over here trimmed with some lace and a decorative edge, and then a couple of journal cards that use the digital, printed 4 to a page. So I've cut out 2 of them to go in there, and I've got 3 more, so we'll put 2 more in this one that we're going to make today, and then I'll still have a couple for other purposes. So good way to use digitals. If you have a full page digital and like, oh, that'd make a really good journal card, just print them out smaller. And I found 4 to a page is a really nice little size. This is of course from A4, but this turns out to be 3.5 inches by just over 5 inches. So a little bit smaller than your 4x6, but I think they're a really nice little size as journal cards. So if you've got any digital that you want to turn into a journal card, just print 4 off on a page. You don't have to print all 4. You can just choose the arrangement of 4 to a page, but print 1 copy of the image. So you don't waste ink if you don't want 4 of them. or you could print 2 of them at 4 to a page, so it only prints 2 but in the arrangement of the 4. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, let's get into this. So first off, you're going to need to have it upside down. So this is the back, but also the top is at the bottom. So the top of this page is at closest to you. I feel like I'm making a mission of explaining this. And we're going to fold it up. Fold it according to your design. So for this one, I want to fold it under the text but above the rows, because I don't want to fold the rows in half or in part. So I'm going to crease it there. The dimensions don't really matter, so just work with whatever design you're using, whether it's this or something else, any digital or scrapbook, whatever. Just fold it to what makes sense on your paper. This one we're going to fold in, and again, it doesn't really matter how far you take it. I'm just going to go about there because I don't want to cut across any text or image. So that takes us just above the word buy. Give it a good crease. And this part, this is presentation paper, so it's slightly heavier than copy paper. Not by a lot, but it is heavier. So I'm going to grab out a strip of plain paper that has been trimmed off a digital when I was doing my fussy cutting. Just going to cut a piece off. And this is going to reinforce the edge. Well, that's straight as a dog's hind leg, but never mind. It'll be fine. So let's just glue that on. So I hope you're having a good day. The day I'm filming this, which is Wednesday, it's rainy and I'm feeling very cozy inside. I've got the fire going. It's sound of the rain on the roof. The cats are all curled up by the fire. Well, 2 of them are. The 3rd was in this morning and had cuddles, and then she went out again. Whoops, went out again. Come on. No, don't put glue everywhere. Making a mess. Make sure I put it on the right part. So this is the bottom of the digital. Sticky. Got glue everywhere. Okay. So we're going to give this a decorative edge like we did on, or like I did on the prototype, but I'm going to wait for that glue to dry, because the decorative scissors don't like the wet glue. You could also use one of the edge punches, you know, the ones that do all the fancy edge. I have some, but I don't really get on that well with them. I should try again, but I just couldn't be bothered, so I'm just going to use fancy edge scissors. Does a similar thing, but I don't have to fight as much, I feel. So this is our inside. It's going to be our pocket once we've given that a fancy edge. I am going to rule a line to cut along. So I'm just going to go about there. Maybe we'll actually line it up on my mat so I have some chance of getting the line straight. Oops, and then I moved it. Think about there. This doesn't matter too much because I won't get it perfectly straight when I cut it, but just it's kind of close enough is good enough. So I'm just going to rule a pencil line there, because there will be bits of the pencil left behind after cutting, so we will need to rub that out. Okay, so that's going to fold in there. So it will tuck in a pocket, so it will be this way round, but you can still like turn it round and look at it the right way round. And then of course on the back we have this beautiful rose. So I am planning on this to go in the All Things Roses journal. I think that's just perfect for it. Okay, so here we want to fold this in by about 1/2 inch, give or take. Now I'm going to be using double-sided tape, and my tape is 1/2 inch, so I want to go slightly over 1/2 inch when I fold it in. So bear in mind, you can glue it. Glue will work perfectly well, not a problem. So I'm just folding that edge in, get a good crease, and then when it folds up you get some of that back part showing. See how that works? Okay, so for this part we need some coffee dyed paper, or whatever paper you like. Let me just grab a piece. It's hard to grab out, everything wants to come. So I'm going to tuck it right in. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way around. I need it to go between this fold line and this fold line. So this one in here. So between those 2 points. And I do need to ink before I stick this in, so don't let me forget. And I want to fold this so that it's narrower than that gap. I think about there is good. So I'm just going to trim that off. Slide both bits in under there. And just need to shorten it a little bit. I like to bring it in so it's not quite top to bottom, just a little bit of a gap at the top, at each end. So just taking off a few millimeters, really, not much at all. And then just double check that. Oh, actually, because this, I've had to trim the white off this, it's actually shorter, so I need to take a little bit more off. So let's make a mark. Let's go there. We really need this rain. We've been so dry. We're still on water restrictions, and we're in the last month of autumn. It's really quite crazy. Right, so that's going to tuck in there. But before we do that, it's going to be hard to do if we wait. So I'm going to ink around the edge, and I think these come up beautiful with inking. You don't have to ink at all if it's not your thing, but I think it actually really looks lovely with a bit of ink around it, these digitals. So and we've managed to get all the handwriting on that flap, which is fun. So it's like a little hidden bit. When you open it up, you get to see the handwriting. It's an address and then a name, which I can't work out what the name is, and an address, but I can make out the town. And it's a little town called Temuka, which is south of where I live, and it's the home of a New Zealand famous pottery brand, Temuka Pottery. They make beautiful pottery. Very well known around the country. And I do have a few pieces of it. When my husband worked at a hotel in Christchurch, they would sometimes get rid of bits and pieces, or they'd have samples come in that weren't required to be returned, and some of those samples were of Temuka pottery, and so we have a couple of large dinner plates. They're really good for like serving things on a table for a potluck style dinner or something. Haven't used them for ages actually, because we don't actually have a dining table anymore. So it's very hard to entertain like in that fashion when you don't have a dining table or the seats or the space. Okay, I want to ink the inside as well, but also I think this is probably dry enough to do, so let's go ahead and cut this edge. So I'm going to cut, and I'm going to line this flat top on my pencil line here, and that's what's going to keep me semi-straight as I cut. That is the plan. So just as I pull the scissors down, I'm keeping that line lined up with the top of the scissors, and just going slowly and taking little bite-sized pieces, not rushing it. Just always lining it up and then adjusting it as you need. If you think, oh no, it's going offline, you just quietly sort of angle it, and it works really well, I find, because these are notoriously difficult to cut straight with, and why a lot of people don't like using them. Yeah, that glue is dry. The one, my prototype that I did, I cut it when the glue was still wet, and it was not easy. It gave me a little bit of grief, but I got there. And often I find the tips of the scissors don't cut so well, so when you start to feel it be a bit resistant towards the tip, just stop and move your scissors up. Don't try and force it, because you won't like the result, more than likely. Okay, so we've got that fun edge. Let's give it a ink along that edge. Oh no, before we do that, let's rub out that pencil line, because you can see it on all the bottom parts of that scallopy edge before we ink over it and sort of make it permanent. I'd already put a bit of ink over that last one, so it's not coming off. And I put my brush backside down on my ink pad, so now I've got ink on the back of it. It was a bit silly, wasn't it? Not thinking. I was just like, oh, put your brush down. You've got to rub out your pencil marks. So this is going to be glued down, this part, so we don't need to ink on the inside of it. Oops, a little crumb there. Okay, on the back, I forgot to do the back, so let's do the back. Just love this, it's so pretty. I like to do the fold lines as well. So yes, a reasonable amount of inking in this project, but it does make a difference. So what's everybody up to today? You got some crafting time today? Or are you busy working or with family or doing something? Oh, ow. Sore neck just suddenly hit me. So we're not inking this part, but we do want to ink this part over here. Also takes care of any white, and we don't need to ink under this flap because it's going to be glued to our paper. But I'm going to do edges here, and this fold line, just folding it back the other way so we can get in there. Yeah, I didn't sleep that well last night, so I think maybe the sore neck's from that, and I haven't had any painkillers since this morning because I've had a headache, so I think I'm a bit overdue to take another dose. That's possibly why I'm starting to go creak crack. Oh, getting old is not fun, guys. Don't do it. But the other alternative is not that great, so yeah, just grow old. It's, you know, it is what it is. I sound like I'm ancient, don't I? Right. So this gets glued down. Let's do that wherever I put the glue. So just at the top and bottom. If you wanted, you could turn it into 2 pockets and put a glue line in the middle, but I'm just leaving it as 1 pocket. Like so. And then this one, we are going to use the double-sided tape. I could use the tacky glue. There would be absolutely no problem with that, but I don't know, I just like the double-sided tape for this. Right, so I am going to, this is slightly thicker. This bit that I folded over is thicker than my prototype, wider I should say. So I was just thinking about where I want to put the tape. Remembering that your pages are slightly shorter, so don't go all the way end to end, and I may have gone a bit too far, but we'll see, because I actually put it on the paper first time round, realizing that this is shorter, and forgot, because you know I'm on camera, so of course I forgot in the heat of things. That's all right, we'll work it out. Okay, so I'm just going to tuck this into the crease there and fold that down over top. And yay, I don't have any tape showing or sticking at the end, so that was good. So we've got this fun little fold out. We've got this decorative bit down here with the handwriting. We've got writing space, it folds open. All this is writing space, that folds out. We've got writing space, and then this is writing space as well. So I really like that. The other thing I did on the other one is I rounded the corners, just personal preference. You could clip them or just leave them square, or give them a decorative corner punch. You know, lots of options, just depending what you want to do. I just like that effect. Super pretty. Right, now I did put lace on this one because I had this plain bit down here. I mean, not super plain. It had marks and it's coloured and everything. I haven't quite got like the same space. Copyright 1907. I just find that fascinating. So I have got some lace out here. This is the lace I put on the other one, which I won't use on this one, I don't think. Do we want to inject a bit of colour with some pink? Given that it's a rose theme, you can kind of see the text underneath a little bit, but it is only a digital. I mean, it doesn't matter if we cover something up. Or do we want this more creamy kind of coloured one? I think it tones in a bit too much, but I'm not sure if I want the pink. Now I've got a dilemma here. Which way do I jump? Although the pink is pretty and it does bring in the colours of the journal, doesn't it? So let's do it, people. Let's do it. About there. And I'm going to use tacky glue on this because I don't think it needs anything stronger. Well, hopefully I cut that long enough. Oh well, we'll make it work. I'm just kind of going. So I am covering this text, the address in London, but that's okay. You'll see peeps of it through the lace. So you could put some washi tape, faux washi, any sort of trim there, some ribbon. We'll leave it with this beautiful text. Just taking the opportunity to dress it up a little bit. Oh, I've got transferring glue everywhere. Yeah, okay, don't shut it or you're going to glue it, glue it closed. Okay, so now let's look at the journal cards. So these are the two. I have backed them onto coffee dyed lined paper. They've gone a bit curly. They're nice and dry now. So let's cut these out. I use glue stick to glue them, so that's why they're a bit curly. But they'll flatten out. Oh, that one wasn't straight for some reason. Let's try again. Little slivers. And I didn't quite get it right up to the edge when I glued it onto the paper, so let's give it a wee trim up. Another wee sliver. You could double print these instead. You could put a backing paper on them and just have them all backed with a plain sort of decorative but writable paper. But I just thought the coffee dyed paper would be nice. Okay, so they're all trimmed up. Get rid of the shrapnel. All over the place. Right, I do believe that I want these rounded as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Whoops, that didn't punch very well. Shouldn't give me too many issues because the glue is well and truly dry. This one's a bit hairy. Oh, yep, so's that one. Well, oh, now it's letting me down. It's not punching nicely. I really need to sharpen it. I have never sharpened it. And I just stopped using it and I thought, oh, I should go back to using it because it's really convenient. But I never in the interim sharpened it, so it's reminding me why I stopped using it. But never mind, it's not the end of the world. Right, get rid of these little bits. Into the rubbish. Okay, I'm just going to run these over the edge of my desk a little bit, flatten them out somewhat. There you go. And sorry, but yes, I am going to ink around them. Now I've done, apart from the lace and decorative edge and inking, I've done no decorating. So you can decorate these in any shape or form that you want. Add some fussy cuts, labels, whatever you like to dress them up. Maybe we'll take a look in a moment when I've got these ready and see if we want to add anything. I do have the All Things Roses fussy cuts to hand if we want to add something. Inject a little bit of colour, maybe something pink to go with our lace. Right, I seem to be taking forever, I'm sorry guys, but we'll get there. It's not really that long. Just conscious when I'm not speaking and I'm just thinking and kind of get in the zone that perhaps might be a little less exciting for you guys. Snuggles is curled up right in front of the fire. Well, actually she's not curled up, she's stretched out with her head tucked under, looking very, very, very relaxed. Puss is stretched out on the back of the couch, so not on the couch but on the back of the couch. We've got a blanket on the couch, which he often is on, but there's also a blanket on the back of the couch, which he used to sleep on all the time, but since Georgie passed he took to sleeping on the blanket on the couch where Georgie used to sleep, and just this week he's gone back up onto the back of the couch. And I think maybe it's higher, so it's getting a bit more heat, maybe, from the fire, because it's right beside the fire. It's got a few bubbles there, but it'll be fine. Right, so do we want to add any decoration? And I thought about adding a closure, but I actually thought it doesn't really need one. Tuck it into a pocket, and it sits flat because it's not very bulky. And yet there's a ton of writing space for not being bulky. I'm feeling like we could add something to these. So let's grab out the fussy cuts, tip them all out, make a mess. How are we going on time? Yeah, we've got time. Cool. So not something big, just something little, I think. Kind of a shame to cover that over, but maybe you just want to pop that there, just for a little something. Of course, you can layer up to your heart's content with book page or some sheet music, since there's kind of a music theme going on here as well, just by the fact that they're music covers. I'm just looking at going, which way up does it go? Does it go this way? I think it might go that way. Yeah. Yeah. No. It's funny, isn't it? It's like I've got to try and do it with my hands to kind of think what's natural and therefore what's correct for it. I'm just going to pop that there. Just really simple embellishment. And it brings in part of the romance of that title, just kind of reinforces that. And we still retain a little decorative bit there and right under that. Simple, really, really simple. So that's that one. What about this one? Kind of don't want to cover that, but you know, it's a digital. Don't really want to cover anything. because I just love the text. The text is cool. Okay, that's not floating my boat. So I'm wondering about some faux washi or actual washi. Let's look perhaps in the pink section of my faux washi. This is pretty, it's got roses on it. This has got flowers on it. What's that? Let's have a wee look. What do we think? Just wondering about not perhaps going right end to end, but just putting a little. I'm going to do it. Stop overthinking it and just put a bit on. So if we go about there-ish, very, very precise knot. I love my faux washi. Oh, no, 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 no. Eek. Yeah, just don't drop it on your project because double-sided tape tends to grab and hold. I like it better around this way. I was fortunate then I was able to lift it back up, but yeah, pays not to drop it on your project because it can create a real mess. I don't think I quite scented it, but it's just got a bit of colour. It's just bringing in something. I don't think I've got anything little enough to like pop down in the corner unless we were to stamp with something, but I don't really, I just can't be bothered getting stamps out. Here's another hand. I mean, we could cover that text at the bottom. I'm going to do that. We're going to cover the text because I like the look of it. So sometimes I get a wee bit precious about a digital paper, and because I love what's on it. But it's about using it in different ways, and you know, one project you might cover a bit over, another project you might celebrate that particular bit, or you know, it's just as a printable. You can print it as often as you like and make as many things as you like. So really, I need to stop being so silly and just embrace. Here we go. Did I want to put a bit of washi on this one? We've got this word pa, but no, I think it's funny cutting right across the middle. I don't like it across the middle. Okay, so they're going to tuck in there. Two cute little journal cards using the digital. And our little folio that's now nice and dry, so I can fold it closed now with lots of writing space. You could put washi tape or something down there, but I just like that handwriting there. And then it folds up. You could put a tab here if you like. I thought about doing that, but I didn't want to cover over the text because I was like, I don't want it the top or bottom. I would put it in the middle, and I don't want to cover that over. And similar thing here, you could put it up the top or bottom if you wanted. I'm like, shall I? Shall I do it anyway? Why not? Let's grab my whale tail punch, which is a bit dusty. Just gave it a quick wipe off on my leg. What paper? Oops. Pulling things off. I actually have this offcut of a book page which has got a rose pattern. Thinking maybe I could just use that. Yeah, I think that will work nicely. It's got a subtle pink background and a kind of a pinky brown rose print. Yep, okay, I'm sold. Let's put it on. I'm not going to put any on the other one, but I'll put one on this one. So you don't have to put a tab or anything on it if you don't want to. It doesn't need it. It's just another little design element. But about making things look pretty, isn't it? Pretty and usable. Actually now I remember why I didn't want to put a tab on, because this folds out. So what am I going to do with this? Can we put it on one of these or something? Maybe this one. What would that look like? Let's put it on this one because I don't want to waste it. Yeah, there was a very good reason I wasn't going to put a tab on it, apart from covering over something. It would have interfered with opening up our paper insert. I'm glad I remembered before I actually stuck it on, because that would have been disastrous. I'm sure I would have found a way around it, but better not to have to. So we have one with a little tab on the top, just totally unplanned, but just makes them a little bit different as well to each other yet again. And you could still fit something else in this pocket if you wanted to. You could tuck other bits of ephemera in, but I think it's really nice that it's quite flat. It's not at all bulky. Yeah, see, tab there, it wouldn't have allowed it to open. So somebody was yelling at me, weren't they? They were yelling, don't do it. Thank you. I appreciate it. So there we go. There is my project with my new digital kit. What have I called it? Antique and vintage music covers, something along that line. But it will be in the description box. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what I've called it. Something like that. So I hope you enjoyed the project. I hope you love the digital as much as I did or do. I think it's going to be really, really handy to have this. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Have a great day. And I'll be back again tomorrow. See you then.